right, we are going to be working on this review. So let's get Desmos pulled up. If I can find it. There it is. All right, so we got Desmos. Unit 7 test review. Let's get it. Number 1, part of a quadratic function, g is graphed on the grid. What is the domain? So, do we know that domain is x? Domain is x, and it's from left to right. Okay, so I'm going to look at the leftmost point on this graph. Okay, so this graph goes all the way here, and it's shaded in at, on the x-axis, -4. Okay, so I'm looking at these answer choices. The only one that has -4 on the left is this one. Well, it's also shaded in, which means it's going to be underlined, so that's good. Letter X in the middle. And then let's go to the far right over here. Now this one's open, and that one's at +1. +1, and open means it's not underlined. It has to be D. Okay, so remember, shaded in is less than or equal to. Open is just less than, no equal to. Now the only thing different would be if it was range. So when it's range, watch my pen. Range would be down here at -7, and it would be shaded in, underlined. At the top, the furthest it goes up is here at 2, and it would not be underlined because that's open. Okay. So you got to be able to do domain and range. Number 2, which statements? Plural, right? It's plural, and it even tells us to make 2. But about x squared plus 20x are true. Well, you know what we need? We need to graph this thing. So let's do that. Okay, we got x squared plus 20x. Now, since it goes forever left, forever right, the domain is all real numbers. That is true, okay, for all unrestricted equation functions that you type into Desmos. It's going to keep going forever and ever. I'm going to zoom out so I can see this thing. All right, so this vertex down here is at -10, -100. We might need to use that. So if the domain is all real numbers, it's not this, so we got the domain, right? Now the range, let's think about the range. The range, the furthest down it goes is -100. It includes it, and it goes up forever. So it should be greater than or equal to -100. So it's not just all real numbers because it doesn't go below -100. This is the same thing twice. Okay, and then now, is it greater than or equal to -100? Yep. Is it less than or equal to 0? Nope. Okay. So there may have been a duplicate there, but you get the idea. So again, you got to graph and look at it. Graph it in Desmos and look at it. Remember, domain on these graphs goes forever left, forever right. You got to know what it means. All right. All right, number 3. Golfer hit a golf ball from a tee box that's 3 yards above the ground. So he's starting, you can barely see it, but it's above 0 here at 0.3. The graph shows the height in yards of the golf ball above the ground as a quadratic function, the horizontal distance in yards of the golf ball from the tee box. So he hits his ball 3 yards above the ground. It goes all the way up here to 903 yards height. Ends up landing over here 60.05 yards away. Okay, so complete this statement. You have to drag stuff. Okay, so the first 2 options are minimum or maximum. So is this point a minimum or a maximum? If it's at the top, it's a maximum. You got to know that. Okay, so you would drag that over. maximum value of, and now for this one, you're going to use the y value. What's the y value at the top there? 903 yards. So that maximum value is the y value. The highest height it reaches is 903. Okay, all right, halfway done. Number 4, the graph of a function is shown on the grid. Whoa. Which statement appears to be true? Is the axis of symmetry x equals 0? So the line that would go straight through the middle right here goes through the x-axis at 0. So an axis of symmetry of x equals 0. That is true. Now, is the y-intercept 6? Well, remember, 6 is like right here. So the y-intercept is not. That would only be true if it was negative 6. So that's not it. Are the roots negative 60 and 2.50? Well, 2.50, yes. But negative 60 over here, that's a no. It should be also negative 2.50. So that's not the roots. And does the function have a negative a value? Remember, negative would make it look like a frown upside down. So nope, has to be a. So always read all the answer choices and pick the best one. Okay. Number 5, the function of x squared was transformed to create the function f of x minus 2 minus 3. What are the coordinates of the vertex? Well, like we said before, you can just graph this thing. Okay. Let's make sure we graph both. Graph both. Graph both. It's very important. If you only graph the second one, it's not going to work. You got to have f of x equals x squared and then this one is g of x equals f of x minus 2 minus 3. All right, so we're going to move this around. Okay, so the blue one is x squared. And then when I graph x minus 2 minus 3, well, it goes from 0, 0 to negative 3. So it looks like it went right 2, down 3. And the x value is 2 of the vertex. And the y value is negative 3. You got to drag these things, okay? Now, you could have kind of just seen it here, like, because you remember insiders lie and outsiders don't lie. So you would have been like, oh, that's a positive 2, that's a minus 3, 2 minus 3, right? But the most common error would be to think it's negative 2 as the first number. So careful with that. Insiders lie. Very important. Insiders lie. Insiders lie. All right, last one. Number 6. Which answer choice describes how the graph was transformed? Well, just like before. There we go. All right, so we got f of x equals x squared. Now down here, it says j of x equals negative x squared plus 6. Let's get that going here. Okay, So we start off with x squared. So again, you want to graph both. In Desmos. So I got x squared, I got negative x squared plus 6. You can tell the two things that are happening are the negative and the plus 6. Now the negative, we said, it starts off as a positive, looking like a smile. Negative makes it frown. It's going down, so that's a reflection over the x-axis. And then plus 6 is not in parentheses, it's an outsider, so that shifts it up or down. And plus is up 6 because outsiders are no lie. So let's see here. The shift is 6, but it's not right. It is not down. It is a vertical shift up 6 units. That's good. It's not left. So the only answer is C, and it does say it reflects over the x-axis. So that's good. It's got to match the graphs that you got, all right? Study for your test. It's just like this review.